When I first started playing video games, this was back in the era of like PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and of course, the Nintendo Wii. I didn't even know that indie games were a thing. That might have had to do with the fact that my age was still in the single digits, but I feel like it also speaks to the way in which the indie game industry has really grown since the 2000s. First party developers still produce hit after hit, but the most viral video games as of late have been made by indie developers. And by viral, I mean that they don't just do well financially, but more importantly have built such an immense following on the internet that they have thriving communities full of fans that regularly post and share content related to these games. Whether it be Five Nights at Freddy's, Undertale, or the eternal overlords of YouTube gaming called Minecraft, the internet provides a home for the quirkiest of games. I've seen everything ranging from gameplay, animatics, memes, and even full blown original songs dedicated to these IPs. And it's mind blowing to see these communities not just existing, but full on steaming ahead to this day. And honestly, it's very much deserved. They are fun, original, and they all push the envelope for what quality means in gaming. Not necessarily reliant on graphics quality, but the core enjoyability of gameplay and world building. And if you're like me and always on the lookout for good games to play, the YouTube algorithm has done well to bring you to this video because today I'll be going over 3 indie games that I believe you should take a look at and hopefully try to convince you to join the fan bases of these games. So let's start off with the first game, that being Hades. This is the most popular of the games that I'll be covering in this video, so you might be aware of it already, but for those of you who don't know what the game is about and are currently seeing what appears to be a very edgy teenager in Greek cosplay, I'm here to say that you aren't entirely wrong, but please stick with me here. Hades is a game that takes place deep in Greek mythos, and you played as the son of Hades, Zagreus, as he ventures out in the underworld to find a way out. I won't go more into detail on the plot other than that short blurb, but in terms of gameplay, it's a roguelike that really accepts the setting of the game, that being, the underworld, and makes the trials and tribulations often associated with the genre play well within the context of the game. You die a lot, but with each death, you will undoubtedly get smarter, wiser, and less dead next time around. Its cast of characters are probably among the most recognizable, as they are, part of Greek myth, but I'm sure that you'll appreciate the unique character traits they have as they modernize the characters. If you are familiar with the young adult boom that occurred within the early 2010s, the closest thing I could possibly describe it to is a Percy Jackson-esque take on the Greek myths. Whether it be Zeus being a jolly uncle, Theseus and the Minotaur serving as annoying celebrities, or the eternal silence of Charon, my favorite character, they are accurate but modern takes that make the storytelling go up a notch. So, in summary, if you are a fan of mythology or a history buff, this game and its community could easily be up your alley. And having won numerous awards at the Game Awards this year, you're sure to receive an experience that is not only vouched by me, a stranger on the internet, but has serious credence within the gaming community as a whole. The second game I'll talk about in this video will be Omori. And while you might be taken away by the art style and think this is going to be such a cute experience, it will not. While the art style suggests otherwise, this game is a horror game, and if I can add to that, scary in the right ways. I'm going to make it an extra point of mine not to spoil anything about this game because it really is something that I believe you should try fresh and without too much insight, so I will instead focus on the aspects that make it such a good game. This is one of those games where the whole is greater than the sum of its parts, and the combination of traditional elements such as the RPG systems paired with the unique storytelling that is being told through the game makes full use of all the tools available in both predictable and unpredictable ways. While you remain focused on the plot, you'll slowly see the influences of how your gameplay can affect it as well. And that growing experience of slowly meshing with the oddity that is Omori makes for a really immersive experience that sort of takes you by surprise and will drive you to understand the world even more. So, if you like RPG games such as Mother and Undertale, or psychological horror games such as Doki Doki Literature Club, for example, I can't recommend this game enough. It also has a pretty nice theorizing community behind it too, so you're sure to get your game lore fixed through this game community too. The final game I want to talk about is Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, and if I had to describe it in one sentence, it's like if you had Animal Crossing and added a pinch of exploration, a dash of action, and poured in a healthy heaping of Japanese mythology. You play as Sakuna, a goddess banished from the celestial palace until she can reclaim the Isle of Demons with the same motley crew of humans that got her in trouble in the first place. There's more to story, but I would say what really got my interest was a unique aspect of agriculture and action in this game. There are tons of games that involve both aspects, but this was the first time I've seen them so closely tied to one another. As a goddess of war and agriculture, your harvest through the game will determine the growth rate of Sakuna, thus making both sides of gameplay so integral to success. When not out exploring the Isle of Demons, you go back to your base to grow rice to the best of your extent, providing a unique balance of chill and adrenaline throughout your gameplay experience. Similar to Hades, instead of the gameplay, it might also be the characters and setting that draw you in. Japanese mythology and cultural references abound. I personally found it to be a great piece of fiction that really does its best to represent such features accurately and upfront. And of course, we also have Sakuna, the protagonist of the game. She's like a likable Tom Nook and has some serious character development throughout the game. Her journey of turning from an arrogant and lazy individual to a humbled and more passionate person was excellent and what I consider to be another selling point of the game. Overall, I consider this game to be one of the cornerstone game experiences during the time that we call quarantine, and I highly recommend picking this game up for anyone looking for an expansive game to take up some free time you wish to be spending on something a little bit more fun than usual. So, Hades, Omori, and Sakuna Rice and Ruin. All three indie games are absolutely fantastic, and I cannot vouch for them enough. If you do happen to make the jump and try and explore these games, whether through personal gameplay or just being part of the fanbase and learning off the wiki, these are great communities to join. And hopefully, I can see you in the YouTube comment sections or subreddits for these games in the near future. If you like this video, I would really appreciate a like and subscribe. And if you have any thoughts on what you would like to see from me or just want to send me a quick message, feel free to comment on the comment section of this video down below. Well, with all that said, I wish you all an exceptional rest of your day.